Well, beans showed up yesterday. 51 bags, my biggest seed order to date. And then I also got 3 bags of corn from the same company to try out, put on that new field. Beans are a 3-1 maturity group, which is about the longest I would feel safe planting around here. And if I was trying to cover more acres, I'd go with a shorter season. But since I've only got to put 38 acres of beans in the ground, getting done in time shouldn't be any problem. And longer maturity means more yield and better test weight, so no big deal there. It's a first choice FB3101G. And actually, this is a discontinued hybrid because these are Roundup Ready 1s. And when was it? I think it was this last fall was when the Roundup Ready 1 patent ran out for Monsanto. I don't know, it must have been sooner than that because Roundup Ready 2s have been out. Either way, it's been just shy of a year since the Roundup Ready 1 patent ran out, and that's the reason Monsanto came up with Roundup Ready 2. It's basically the same exact shit. They just wanted to re-up their patent on it, so they renamed it and repatented it. But the thing about Roundup Ready 1s is, since they're out of patent, now you can hold them back for seed beans once you harvest them, so that's a possibility. I don't think I'm actually going to do it because when you hold harvested beans back for seed, you got to go through and germ test them, and the germ test won't be as high. And basically what a germ test is they pull out a certain amount of seed by pound, throw it in a solution that makes them sprout, and then they figure up by weight how many sprouted, and then that's what would be your pure seed percentage. Or actually, no, not pure seed, but seed per pound, minimum germination. Well, they sewed right through it. It looks like 95 looks like 95 or 96% germination. So, you know how they get that number is you got pure seed, inert matter, and weed seed, noxious weed seed, other crops, which the weed is 0, noxious 0, other crop 0, hard seed 0. Most of the time what you see hard seed in is grasses and legumes, or like small seed legumes like alfalfa, not so much in soybeans. But so you take pure seed, add in the inert matter, that gets you to 100%, and then you do the germ test on the 98.5%, and then that's what gets you to your 95, 96, whatever number that is, percent germination. Came out of Indiana, so yep. And then you also, when you're figuring your planting rate, you have to use that number too, because when you calibrate, you go through, you make a pass with the drill, you take a bag and hook it to one of the drop tubes, collect whatever seed falls in, weigh it, and then multiply that by your germination. That'll tell you how much of that seed you just put down is going to germinate, and then you could use that to adjust whether you need to put more or less seed down, because not every seed in this bag will germinate. So that's the beans, and then the corn is another first choice FC570 VT2, which is a double stack. I'd have to go back and look at my number, or look at my book to see what all the treatment letters mean, but 95% germ. This was come out of Iowa. It's a 108-day maturity group, or 108-day relative maturity. The maturity group is beans, relative maturity is corn. And this is basically, other than the fact that this is a longer season, this is a one of these is a 100-day. Yeah, there's a 102, and then the other one, 102, where's the other variety at? And that's a 110. So got 110, 102, and then this is a 108. But the reason I went with this is where those two hybrids were just shy of $300 a bag, these were only $2.19 a bag, and it's virtually the same shit. The only thing you're paying at seeds just like everything else in ag, you pay for the name. So, and in the spirit of lowering cost, I decided to try that out, and if I like it, this hybrid they're actually discontinuing, and they have a 107-day coming out for next season that's going to replace it. And this the guy I bought this from, I actually went to both guys I bought seed from I went to college with, and my first choice, or my buddy that's working for First Choice, told me they have a 107-day that's replacing this 108-day, but it has actually out-yielded it in every plot trial they've had them up against. So we'll see how this does, and this is, by the numbers, this is still a pretty good hybrid. So we'll just have to see how things go, and if I like how that First Choice works out, I think next year I'm going to go 50-50 on AgriGold and First Choice, because I do think that, not so much with beans, because other than maturity group, a soybean is a soybean is a soybean. There's really not a whole lot of difference. The only two things, and it's the only real difference between hybrids, is you have bushy hybrids and upright hybrids, and the upright hybrid basically just makes a single stalk with maybe a couple branches off of it, and a bushy hybrid prefers to be planted at a lower population, but you can get away with it because it gets real big and bushy and puts on more pods, so you can get the same yield with fewer plants. But one is adapted to different growing conditions than the other, so one can't replace the other. So, but that's really the only difference with soybeans. So if you plant one, if you're covering a lot of acres, you should plant more than one maturity group, because obviously the later you plant, the shorter season you're going to need. But if you only plant one company, you're going to be alright. But with corn, I feel that if you have the opportunity, the acres to do it, you should plant more than one hybrid, and ideally it would be nice to be able to plant more than one company, because that's a different genetic line than that. So if something happens, a disease hits, or some weather condition or something happens where one hybrid reacts different than the other, and one hybrid reacts more negatively than the other, it helps cover your ass, basically. So now it just needs to quit frickin' raining so I can start putting it in the ground. I am going to feel like a big time farmer this year, though, because I talked to my buddy, or when he delivered it yesterday, I told him if he wanted me to put out any signs along the road, have him send me a couple, and he's going to do that. So this field down the road here next to the property we just bought and cleaned up, I'm going to put some First Choice signs out. And then I got to talk to my buddy I bought the AgriGold from, and because I'm going to be putting corn right out on the highway this year, and that's what's going to go out there is AgriGold. And I'm going to see if he wants me to put some AgriGold signs out there, get him a little bit of advertising. So we'll just have to see what happens. So there's an update on where the seed's at. It's all here, all ready to rock and roll. We just gotta quit having this crap. So, guess that does it for this one, and we will catch you guys on the next one.